Hello, everyone, and welcome to the On Air podcast with your hosts, Stephen Hudson, Paul O'Flaherty, and David Gall. The On Air podcast is the official podcast for Geek Dimensions and everyone living a geek's life. Hello, everybody. This is Stephen Hudson with the Geek Dimensions On Air podcast, and we're back with my good friends David Gall and Paul O'Flaherty to talk about some geek things that happened over the past little while that sort of got us excited, got us angry, whatever, or just caught our interest. We're basically three geeks. Through two of you who live down in the States, I live in Canada, kind of gives us a different look at things. But we are so much, okay, first off, David, Paul, either one of you seen Godzilla?
Godzilla.
Which Godzilla?
The new one.
No. I have not seen it yet. It is on the list of movies to obtain.
Well, from what I understand...
Obtain,
yes. From what I understand, what is it? Because I know Disney was talking about, like, the ratings, like, this thing on Rotten Tomatoes is, like, 9 out of 10 or 98%, something, like, unheard of number.
It is exceptional for a Godzilla movie.
That's not saying a lot.
Relevant?
Well, I don't know. We're really okay. Let me rephrase that. It is exceptional, really, for any movie coming out nowadays. The movies are the ratings are good, and that's across the board. Critics and the normal folks, the you and me's. But the ratings, it apparently is a 73% on the tomato meter, and then a 75% audience rating. So about the same.
Huh.
So
I may have to get my ass out the door this weekend and watch it then.
Well, yeah, looks really good.
While you're going to see it, Paul, you can rest assured that the U.S. Air Force has a plan to deal with a real Godzilla.
What, they're going to throw Ann Coulter at it?
Either that or Nancy Grace.
She'll talk it to death.
Oh, God. But anyway, I guess this is meant as tongue-in-cheek, but the United States Air Force announced a contingency plan to deal with a monster threat like Godzilla. I'll just read this out quickly. During an interview with the Smithsonian Air and Space magazine, members of the United States Air Force confirmed that there is a contingency plan for taking out Godzilla if the fire-breathing sea creature ever does attack. Master Sergeant John Edwards of Kadena Air Base said the Air Force would deploy 40,000 Segways and slingshots and would need help from certain people.
Yes.
I would go with Chuck Norris, but that would be the obvious one, Edwards said. As I understand it, the Power Rangers are probably a good choice in this type of scenario. Bruce Lee, the Incredible Hulk, the CGI one, not the Lou Ferrigno one, and George W. Bush.
Wow.
There will be more than 50 F-15 fighter jets available at Kadena, so those planes should likely be utilized as well.
I wonder if they're taking volunteers for the Segway and slingshot.
Can you imagine?
Does that come with any formal training?
On Segways.
Yeah, really.
Can you imagine a line of 4,000 Segways, and they're all got slingshots?
Look, if this is the best we got, we're screwed.
I thought their plan was much more Monty Python-esque, just like, run away, run away.
Well, didn't they also have one for the zombie apocalypse? Whatever.
See, that at least made sense because it was kind of, if you're prepared for the zombie apocalypse, you're prepared for everything from like hurricanes and tornadoes and all that sort of crap, versus, prepare for Godzilla because if he steps on your house, you're fucked.
Oh, okay, listen. By the way, I just want to make something clear because there's a bit of a change of policies going on around Geek Dimensions and everything else. There is a not safe for work warning on this show from now on, so you can be as expressive as you fucking well like.
Damn. It's like I've been telling people, because one of my clients came to me the other day and he was like, "So you podcast and stuff?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "I gotta listen to your show," and I was like, "No, you don't."
No, you don't.
I was like, "But I do this really clean tech podcast that you can go listen to."
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Good.
By the way, if you haven't listened to the Nothing Serious podcast, folks, and you like your news interpretation a little on the raunchy side with a strong side order of attitude, NothingSeriousPodcast.com. Head over there and check it out, man, because it's well worth your time. Especially
now we'll have to plug this show on Nothing Serious.
Listen, by the way, Paul, I just want to let you know, in like, you know how I hang around the Dizzy Disaster chat areas and everything like that? We have one Finnish guy, Cretify. Hi, Cretify, who listens to both our shows. He comes in each morning wanting to know when the show is going to be ready for download. He's in the, he's in their army, isn't he, David?
I believe so.
Yeah. The Finnish army who get chocolate cake. Anyway.
Damn, son.
And segues. Probably, I'd imagine the Finnish army probably has something along the lines of the U.S. Air Force's joke plan to handle Godzilla as their actual plan of attack. I would be surprised if they have segues and slingshots.
But anyway, Cretify loves...
It's not in the show notes. Anybody see that story? I didn't even read it today, but something went through my stream about Segway releasing some 3-wheels.
Yes, I saw that.
A Segway tricycle.
Yes, for the police.
Really?
Yes.
I've seen those before. They look very goofy and they're extremely slow.
They're even goofier than the originals.
I wonder if the police usually they wear those little short hot pants when they're on the bicycles and the Segway. It's such a joke.
Shush! Don't mention the hot pants.
Oh, can you imagine getting a ticket? Although I did get a ticket from a foot cop once in Virginia, which was probably the most embarrassing thing. I was in a car and he was on foot.
And he caught you. What were you driving? He caught you.
I know. I was in a Charger. A rental car, no less.
Well, there's your excuse right there.
Okay, now that we've gotten rid of any safe, like family-friendly language warnings, Paul, you, Skype.
What? Oh, I have a rant.
Yes. Go for it, buddy. The podium is yours.
This is like for anybody who podcasts or just uses Skype Premium in general, right? Stephen was paying for it. I was paying for it. And the reason that we were paying for Skype Premium was not for these bloody services wherein, you could ring some other country for cheap. It was so that we could do these 3-way video calls because, Google Hangouts is awesome and so on and so forth. But from a podcasting point of view, there's still really very little that competes with Skype for doing this kind of thing and doing it well. But they discontinued Skype Premium and decided, let's give everybody the video multi-thing. So that's awesome. My Skype Premium thing runs out. And Microsoft promptly renews it. I get this email saying, your stuff is renewed, $60 gone from your account. And I'm like, wait a minute. Well, first off, I didn't twig it. I sent a message to my wife. I was like, damn it, Skype just renewed. And she was like, isn't that service gone now? So I went and I checked it out. They had discontinued Skype Premium, but instead they decided they would lovingly transfer me to a completely other service called Worldwide Unlimited, and give me unlimited, calls to cell phones and texts in something like 60 odd countries or something. I didn't want that. I didn't need that, and no company should ever just migrate you to basically a completely different service. When they discontinue one service and just continue to take your money. Now, that pissed me off, obviously enough. I did get in contact with Microsoft, and I did get a refund the very, very same day. They were really, really quick about it. But 2 things here. One, it should not have happened at all, period. You change the service, you don't get to charge me for it without at least, getting my acknowledgement that I'm willing to accept a new service. 2, if anybody here had a Skype Premium, or if you, recently got one in the last few months or whatever, go check your settings. Make sure that, you're not getting charged for crap that you don't want, that you don't get charged for it, and that, if you do have it, get your refund or whatever it is. And, they're really good at giving you your refund, but it just shouldn't have happened. So this is a bit of an FYI, bit of a heads up.
So
public announcement.
If while Microsoft is giving refunds for dissatisfied Skype customers, what should they be doing for Surface 3 customers, David? Because you
Hand
obviously, yeah.
I don't know, some kind of consolation prize for buying that piece of shit. You know, I will give the Surface credit where credit is due in the form of build quality and the little kickstand, but spec-wise, the thing is absolute shit. Price-wise, absolute shit. The touch keyboard / mouse / cover, absolute shit. The display, absolute shit. The Wi-Fi reception, absolute shit. So, I don't know. I don't know where Microsoft gets off doing this. And I don't know where or why they're trying to push their absolute shit app ecosystem.
I'd actually like to pick one up before I make said decision, because I've read multiple hands-on reviews of people who have very different feelings than you about this.
Mine was bought and returned within about 2 weeks. But I bought it
3.
The Surface Pro, not the 3, the Surface Pro 2.
Yeah, but we're not talking about the 2. We're talking about the 3.
It's the same
That's like
thing.
talking about fucking.
It's the same thing. It's still got the same i5.
When you need to be talking about Sir Arthur in the Monty Python movies, it's not the same character. It's not.
It is
Shane.
It is. It's the same i5, the same storage space, the same SSD, the same shell.
No. No.
And the same price. That still cost $1,000.
No.
For a dual core.
No.
A dual core.
No.
Oh, what a shame.
I fart in your general direction.
Although it does come with Windows 8.1 instead of 8.
Your mother was a hamster and your father smelt of elderberries.
Mm. You also
Go away or I shall taunt you a second time.
You also get 1 hour less of battery life than you did with the Surface Pro. So I guess, yes, it is greatly changed.
My nose into you, suck off. You and all your silly English kniggets.
Oh, wait, did the other one come with an ambient light sensor, or is that a new addition for the Surface?
I'm invincible. You're a bloody loony.
Oh, okay. Oh, God.
A hunk of junk. An absolute hunk of junk for $1,000. For 128 gig i5.
One.
Oh, wait, but you can go for $2,000. For $2,000, you can get 512 gigs of storage with an i7.
But couldn't you say that about any fucking Apple product?
I don't even know.
It's an absolute hunk of junk.
Granted, the Apple product does run that high. I don't even know if Apple charges that much for an i7 with 512 gigs of storage. Let's see if they're above $2,000. Knowing Apple, they probably are.
And we're staying on the Microsoft bandwagon for a moment longer. Who put this one? Xbox One, the real name and external USB HD support.
Yeah, I'm not interested in this whole real name shit. You know what I mean? I'm smart enough to remember what people's names are. I think this just adds a layer of confusion because now I'll be like, who the fuck is Stephen Hodson? What's his username when I need to talk to him on Xbox? But what I am interested in, and only because I've already filled up the hard drive on my Xbox One, is the fact that, you know, you're going to be able to hook up an external USB 3 drive. So I can now stick a 4 terabyte drive to my Xbox One and save all my games there, or install all my games there. Of course, you can also take that drive then to your mate's house and plug it back in so that you don't have to install the games on his machine when you're playing, which is kind of handy. But it's the little things in life. You know, there's not that many games out for the Xbox One, and I've already filled my hard drive. So
guess what? You're going to be able to get 3 new maps for Titanfall.
Really?
For the amazing low price. The amazing low price.
Of
$60.
Let's just, can we put an over-under on this with the audience? Just yeah. How much do you think 3 new maps for this game should cost you?
$15.
Fair enough.
Tops. All right, map packs on their own. So, look, we ranted about this recently, right? This whole fucking Call of Duty syndrome where, like, you had, you know, let's buy this. Whoa, excuse me.
let's buy the season pass, and then let's have all these other add-ons that you still have to buy outside of the season pass. Like there's like $60 of add-ons outside of what you get when you've already forked over the cash for the season pass. $60 for 3 map packs. Better give me a hand job and finger my asshole at the same time.
Absolutely,
it's just ridiculous.
And to Titanfall's credit, the season pass is only $25, which is good.
But there's no mention of, new types of Titans. There's no mention of new
You mean actual content? I know.
No
Isn't
content.
that funny?
Maps. Let's do the same.
It's maps that were probably designed before the game launched. And chances are these are all just sitting on retainer with a planned release schedule.
I wrote a report, I think it was on either on Twitch Universe or on WinExtra, the fact that within a week after the Titanfall launch, there was already maps being leaked. So, they were already done. Why couldn't they have just included them in with the game and done their game, done the gamers a favor?
I like Titanfall. I do. Right? But for all those people out there who call Titanfall, looking at very many gaming sites out there who call Titanfall the future of multiplayer, you have your head so far up your backside.
That's painful. That's physically painful to hear.
Titanfall, you're supposed to go around these big robots, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't work. Okay? It doesn't work. Titanfall is best played if you don't go in your robot at all, because you're going to get your ass kicked, right? So then you run around in this, this first FPS version which is actually kind of weak, except for the fact that you can cloak and jump about the place like a fucking bunny on acid. The first person shooter aspect when you're not in the Titan is actually relatively weak. So I don't get it. But overall I like the game, but I just don't get... I got caught up in the hype and I bought the thing. I enjoy playing it, but I don't... It's not the future of multiplayer, and it's most definitely not the future of multiplayer at $60 for 3 shitty little maps.
And it is a sad excuse for DLC. Just for contrast, did you play the game Dishonored?
No, not yet.
So basically the story is you are protecting this royal family. You're kind of working for them, and you're in charge of their safety. The opening scene is this family that you are to protect being assassinated right in front of you by these crazy teleporting assassin people.
Very punkish.
A major failure from the get-go.
Yes, so you fail right off the bat. And throughout the game, you're basically trying to unravel this mystery, find out who killed them, and find out why. So, the DLC, when it was the DLC that was released for it, allowed you to play as the assassin that killed the people you're trying to protect in the first place, giving you a whole new spin on the story, charging a reasonable price, and actually adding content. DLC can be done right. But 3 maps for $25 or $9 or $10 is retarded.
DLC has to be more than a new layout to do the exact same shit in.
Yep. Yes. Actual content. And it can be done. I think we just have to, push for it. Is there a way we can push for this? How do we do this?
It's not going to happen because the majority of gamers are a lot more casual. The majority of gamers just... You know what? The problem is the majority of gamers have their mother paying for their DLC. Mommy and daddy are paying for the goddamn DLC. And mommy and daddy have no idea what they're buying.
It's true. And I don't even have a problem paying for the DLC if the DLC didn't suck.
Oh, the DLC.
How can we change this?
For $60, it should suck.
Whose ass do we need to kick to get some real content for Titanfall? Or even any modern shooter?
And can Titanfall please look? I don't have a problem with the British accent. All right, I'm Irish. I've lived there. But dear God, whoever's doing the voiceover on this needs to really work on his voiceover,
man,
trailer for the thing because it sucks, man.
So, in Dota 2, you can download these voice packs. And so basically the announcer can be like the announcer from GLaDOS from Portal or the announcer from Stanley Parable. That's what they need. There's some actual content. Pay a couple bucks and you get a completely new voiceover pack.
With Ghosts, you can get the guy who was the drill sergeant in
Arlie Army.
Yes. Arlie Emery,
It's
drill
perfect.
sergeant Platoon, and he is awesome. Of course, you can also download Snoop Dogg.
What?
That's awesome too. That's legitimate content. I will gladly pay money to hear Snoop Dogg bitch at me because I suck at Call of Duty.
All right, okay, before we get too far along, the other really big news, which is having everybody just throwing a tizzy between Twitch and YouTube, is the rumor. It's not being qualified. Now, let's be clear here, folks. This is still just rumor. Neither Twitch nor YouTube or Google has confirmed this. But it's all over the place that Google or YouTube is buying Twitch.tv. Now, if anybody who listens to this show, you know what Twitch is. For those of you just tuning in, Twitch.tv is the game live streaming site on the web. There is no better.
Well, my understanding is that if they do this is like good for everybody.
It is. And okay, so I'm going to speak on this as somebody who is involved in a partnered Twitch stream. I have a certain insider's perspective, you might say, on this. And let me tell you, so streaming on Twitch right now is very, very hit or miss. It is an absolute nightmare. There's disconnects and server issues galore. It is a problem. And right now, Twitch could use a little Google know-how and a little Google money and a little Google infrastructure to kind of shore up their service and make streaming less painful. I'm sick of the random frame drops that are unexplained. They can't be explained. There's no reason for this. There's no reason why these streams should be suddenly disconnected. But of course, Twitch support is generally pretty good about tweeting out, hey, we realize there's a problem. We'll fix it. Give us 30 minutes or whatever.
An hour later.
But it's just become a problem. And so I am excited to see some Google love being given to Twitch. I think it's about time. I hope this goes through, and I hope we can get the stability of YouTube on that service.
The thing to keep in mind here, too, is that the majority of people raising a fuss over against this whole thing are the old-time Twitch groups who have been there since day one. They've got their 250,000 followers. They've got their 3,000 or 4,000 subscribers, and they're making a nice little bit of money.
I assume that's not going to change.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if Google walks in and suddenly Twitch is twice the size it is now, it's got bigger audience, it's got more people involved. This old-time guard has to fight a whole new battle to stay on top. And a lot of them are old, they're tired, they do the same old shit day in and day out. They ignore their audience. They play games that they should never even be playing. The only reason they are is because it's on the hype train. And, they get that initial rush. 2 days later, they're gone. You don't even mention the game in their chat rooms because they don't care.
You know what was interesting, too, is that, and this is going to sound ridiculous, but $1 billion doesn't seem like a lot of money for a service of this magnitude. So Oculus Rift was bought out for like 2 or 3 billion, and Oculus actually had some hardware. I feel like Twitch has a lot more value than Oculus Rift because Twitch is already a sustainable business model that already exists. They already have a back end. They already have support. Well, they already have a delivered product.
Now, here's how this was supposed to have gone down.
In any bubble, you're going to get some services that actually sell at what they should be valued at rather than anything else.
WhatsApp selling for $20 billion and Twitch is only worth $1 billion? That's bullshit.
Bubble.
Now, here's the thing. Twitch, like this is what I've been reading so far. Twitch originally went looking for another round of funding. I think a Series A or a Series B. And they were talking to all the big venture caps about what to do. And I guess Google and Microsoft and one other company got wind of this. And they said, well, why don't we just buy you? And that's when the figures were starting to go back and forth. Apparently, the only thing stopping the Twitch Google deal right now is they're trying to firm up identity. Will Twitch lose its identity? Will it become just another Google infrastructure project? Or will Twitch.tv remain that community, that identity, but with Google back-end support?
I don't see how that's even a discussion. I mean,
it seems like it'd be rolled into the YouTube platform.
It might be rolled into there might be like integration rolled in, but I don't see them dropping it. At the end of the day, they're trying to buy a brand here, you know, a brand and a community, and you don't get that community by taking away the brand that it's built around. You know,
it is Twitch has a good name, and it's kind of hip in the gaming community, so to speak.
It would be like when they bought YouTube if they had like made it like google.com/videos and left it at that. You know what I mean?
Well, remember it was Google Video.
Well, they had Google Video. That was separate. And then YouTube came along. And Google Video existed for a long time afterwards.
Yeah, it was about 4 or 5 years afterwards before they finally shut it down.
Yeah. But I don't see them doing anything stupid like that. It would be Twitch, a Google-owned product, just like YouTube, a Google-owned product.
Like
I mean, you'll see integration of Google Plus comments,
which is really freaking people out, and I don't understand why. Because right now, Google's going through a big change as far as Google Plus is concerned. Vic Kunduntra's walked away. All right, he's gone. There is no more evangelism for Google Plus, and word is that the whole project is being deprecated and people being sections of it being shipped off to other.
No fucking way.
That's what
they have invested too much to make Google Plus the cement that binds their services together.
I know that.
Just let it all fall apart because
I'm just telling you what I've read through.
Yeah, they're the same people that think fucking Titanfall is the future of multiplayer gaming.
Goddamn tech journalism. Screw tech journalism.
No wonder I want
the same people that think WhatsApp was actually worth that kind of money.
You mean it wasn't?
What a
I'll just
joke.
Row in your general direction, and we'll leave it at that.
All right.
Joke.
And we will leave it at that, folks. What we're going to call tonight's unabridged, not safe for work episode, the first of what we hope to be many more great ones. David, Paul, any last words? Any really cool stuff you've done over
Yes.
Go.
Motherfucking Wolfenstein. All right?
Okay.
I'm playing it. It's awesome. All right? The premise being, basically the story opens up. It's World War II. All right? And some stuff happens, and you end up in a mental institution, right? Pretty standard fare for Wolfenstein. All right. Basically, the Nazis take over, and they go through this cool cutscene of all this time passing while you're in the mental institution. And basically, you wake up, kinda, and it's 1960, and you are a U.S. military guy, and you're talking to the people, and you're like, I need to get in touch with the U.S. military. And they're like, the U.S. military doesn't exist? Well, I need to get in touch with the resistance fighters. There is no resistance. It's 1960. The Nazis have taken over everything. Absolutely everything. They won the war, and English is now a dying tongue. And that's where the game picks up. And it is on you, your responsibility to stop that shit. So Wolfenstein is my pick of the week. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Have not beaten it, but will very soon.
And Paul.
What?
What? You too. Anything cool? Other than
Paul's
the fact
unprepared.
you worked your ass off?
No, Paul's not unprepared. Paul worked his ass off. Paul hasn't stopped working. Paul got stuck doing nearly 40 hours of work this weekend for a piss-ass client. All I will say to people is this. If you don't invest in your infrastructure, expect me to come and laugh in your face.
And on that note, folks, we'll call tonight's show to a close. This has been Geek Dimensions on air, and we will be back next week with another round of fun and frolicking on the verbal frontier of geekdom with David Gall, Paul O'Flaherty, and myself, Stephen Hodson. Until then, remember one thing. keep it geek. You have been listening to the Geek Dimensions On-Air podcast with Stephen Hodson, Paul O'Flaherty, and David Gall. You can send any feedback about this or any of our other episodes to feedback@geekdimensions.com or by leaving a comment on the post. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Google Plus as Geek Dimensions. If you want to subscribe to the show, you can find it on iTunes, Stitcher, Blueberry, and podcastpd.org, or you can use our RSS feed for the show. The music used in the show is Metro by Sleep Thief. The On-Air podcast is the official podcast of Geek Dimensions and everyone living a geek's life.